Welcome to Soundstage 3 at the Walt Disney Studios in Southern California. This is where Kirk Douglas fought a giant squid in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke danced with the animated penguins in Mary Poppins. I'm Patrick Van Horn. Making movies is a business like no other, full of glamour and excitement. But have you ever wondered what it takes to put a movie together? From the writer and director to talented artists and technicians, there are literally hundreds of people and thousands of details that the audience never sees. And that's why we've come here, to take you behind the scenes for a very close-up look at the making of a truly amazing motion picture. Welcome backstage for the making of Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle Book. In 1967, Disney Studios produced the animated feature The Jungle Book, based on one of Rudyard Kipling's best-loved stories. Kipling created memorable characters like the boy cub Mowgli, Baloo the bear, King Louie the orangutan, and the vicious Bengal tiger, Shere Khan.
Action!
Now Disney has created a new, exciting, adventure-filled, live-action version of Kipling's classic, featuring the same wonderful characters.
Pick him up. Now look at him. We are rolling!
Making The Jungle Book was a huge undertaking, involving actors, animals, and an army of artists. In the next half hour, we'll show you how Disney's movie makers took a Kipling classic and turned it into a thrilling big screen epic. The film's producers faced the formidable logistics of moving a large film company through exotic locations across several continents. But they also felt the results would be worth the effort.
We felt that it was time to bring back the flavor of Rudyard Kipling and the basis of a true adventure drama.
Let's try rehearsal. Here we go.
We feel that the animals and the ecology and the hope of people taking care of the animal world will be of great interest to people.
I also wanted to tell the story not only of the fantasy level which is portrayed in the Walt Disney's movie, but also of the reality version of what could happen to a wild child once he's brought back into civilization.
Okay, we got animals, we got children, we have fire, water, sand. What else could we do to make this more difficult?
Director and screenwriter Stephen Sommers had the task of translating Kipling's classic story for the screen.
Okay.
Here we go.
Get those back.
Here we go.
Get those monkeys up. Here we go. They said, how'd you like to do a big, exotic adventure movie in a far-off, distant land? And they pitched it to me like, I said, oh, that sounds really good. What is it? They said, The Jungle Book. And instantly I thought, oh yeah, jungle adventure. Hey, that sounds really great.
Sommers selected Jason Scott Lee, star of Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, and Rapa Nui. Jason is a natural athlete who embodies both the grace and intensity of the adult Mowgli.
Jason Scott Lee, he's so innocent and sweet as a person. And I think that just projects on screen. I think that's Mowgli. Mowgli, the character Mowgli, he's raised by animals in the wild. He has no human values or evils or anything like that. And so he's a very sweet and innocent character.
For the female lead, Kitty, the filmmakers chose British actress Lena Headey, who appeared opposite Anthony Hopkins and Emma Thompson in The Remains of the Day.
If you could have spoken to me the first time in the jungle, would you have said, oh? Did you feel anything?
Fire.
Fire.
Great fire.
Lena is not at all like Kitty in real life, I don't think. I mean, Lena's even more outgoing, more fun and flirty and, I don't know, crazy than Kitty.
Hello, Father.
Hello, Father.
Kitty's father, Colonel Bryden, is played by Sam Neill, star of Jurassic Park.
With that jungle boy, weren't you?
Mowgli, Father. His name is Mowgli.
You're beginning to talk.
He read the script and loved it and wanted to do it instantly.
Sure, boy. What's your name?
I was very intimidated by him at first. Here's this guy, what's he gonna be like? And he's actually just a big teddy bear, real sweet guy.
Cary Elwes plays the villain of The Jungle Book, Captain Boone, a dashing British soldier who's romantically involved with Kitty. Sommers had definite ideas about the type of actor he wanted for the role.
Well, I'm just telling you that counting the timing of it really helps if he had a horn.
I cast Cary as the bad guy because he comes across as very intelligent, he's a sharp guy, good-looking guy. And I wanted him to be an even match for Jason Scott Lee.
What is enemy? Someone you hate.
I like when bad guys sometimes wear white. I like bad guys that are as strong and as tough and as intelligent as my good guys. Makes it more interesting.
John Cleese, star of Monty Python and Fawlty Towers, makes a rare film appearance as Dr. Plumford, the proper Brit who helps Mowgli learn the social graces of civilized men.
One of the first people I wanted for Plumford was John Cleese, and everybody said, no, John Cleese turns down everything. When I kept pushing, let's try to get John Cleese, let's just get him to read the script. And everybody said, no, and his agent said no, and everybody said no. And out of the blue, I got a call and said, hey, John Cleese got a whole script and read it and wants to do it. And so I was like real thrilled.
I grew my own moustache and then layered this ridiculous thing on the top, which looks a bit like Rudyard Kipling.
It's all about a little kid who gets lost. Things happen and he gets lost in the jungle. They're on this truck when Mowgli gets separated and lost.
Where's Mowgli, Father?
He's gone, Kitty.
And he grows up with animals and he learns the laws of the jungle through a bear and a panther and a group of wolves.
Mowgli is the epitome of the innocence that you derive from living in order with nature. And not only the nature of the plants, but the nature of the animals and the way that the animals coexist with one another.
Kitty's the lead girl's name. Mowgli and Kitty, they know each other when they're 5 years old. Basically 15, 20 years later, they meet up again, and now she is, a proper young lady, and she's engaged to our bad guy.
Not in public, Billy.
Public? What public?
It's a big, roaring, romantic adventure movie.
I should warn you, I'm feeling quite the hunter today.
And am I to be your prey?
What the? Why, you little savage!
Be careful, William.
Don't worry, Catherine. I'll protect you.
Actually, William, I think that's what he's trying to do.
Come on. Good. Nice, hot English bath for you.
Mowgli is reintroduced to human society.
Splendid. All right, then. All right, then.
And learns language, manners, and other social graces.
Albert.
But he also learns about jealousy, rivalry, and revenge.
Von Melcher.
And this is just where the story kind of kicks into another gear, and you get the adventure part of it takes off.
We found this on him. May have a brother and sister. Where did you get it?
From Monkey City.
Monkey City. Was there more treasure there?
In Monkey City, there's mountains of treasure.
Boone forces Mowgli to use his knowledge of the jungle to uncover the mystery behind the legend of Hanuman and the priceless treasure of Monkey City, guarded by the powerful and terrifying Kaa. The filmmakers knew that the movie had to be as real and as natural as they could make it. They realized that this was a film that had to be made on location. They also knew that a lengthy location shoot would be complicated and costly, moving a cast and crew of about 150 people and a menagerie of animals to a variety of locations in India, as well as several locations in the United States.
It's the Jungle Book. We had to have a great jungle, and I wanted the most romantic jungle I could find. And so we're sort of creating our jungle through going to 4 different locations in 2 continents. 6 waterfalls, 8 mountain ranges, woods, jungles, everything we can do. I want to make it the jungle we'd all like to live in.
This is the prop department at the Disney Studios. If you're looking for a statue of a boy on a dolphin or a Paul Bunyan-sized cow's skull, you've come to the right place. It's a movie maker's toy store, especially if you're going to recreate Rudyard Kipling's India of the 1800s with British muskets and jeweled daggers. Kipling's The Jungle Book is filled with this kind of rich detail. And why not? The story came from the creative imagination of one of the world's best writers. Rudyard Kipling was born in Bombay, India, and grew up hearing stories about the jungle and wild beasts who lived there. Kipling lived in England and the United States. Ironically, his best story, The Jungle Book, was written in Vermont for the amusement of his daughter Josephine. Kipling won the Nobel Prize for Literature and held honorary degrees from both Oxford and Cambridge. He is still regarded as one of the best writers of all time. Growing up in exotic settings may have sparked the imagination of the inventive Kipling, and the seed that was planted when he was a boy blossomed into the creation of Mowgli, Gray Brother, Baloo, Bagheera, and the other creatures of the Jungle Book on a cold Vermont night 100 years ago. You never see the behind-the-scenes work that takes place in an office like this, but the results are always on the screen. All of the pre-planning for Kipling's The Jungle Book took place in the production office. Here, the producers, the director, and various department heads spent hundreds of hours going over the intricate designs of the sets and the thousands of storyboard drawings that depicted every shot in writer-director Stephen Sommers' screenplay. No detail was overlooked. Everything was anticipated in advance. Well, almost everything, because Kipling's The Jungle Book contained an element that was completely unpredictable: live animals. The filmmakers were faced with the challenge of placing actors within a bear's hug of a variety of wild creatures, and they had to do it in such a way that movie audiences would accept it, while keeping the set safe for both man and beast.
People think, oh, when the animals are trained, that means they juggle balls and they'll do headstands. When they're wild, exotic animals, when they say they're trained, all that means is they probably won't kill you.
You really have to have your attention right here on the spot, here and now, or you could be in a lot of danger.
The best thing they did is they found a guy like Jason. Honestly, they couldn't have found a better guy because he's a natural in some respects with the animals, because sometimes, the animals will pick out certain people I like and dislike for no reason. Sometimes the way it smells, sometimes the way it walks. It's just like when a person walks into a party, you can look across the room and there's that one person, for some reason, you just can't stand.
And what have we here?
You've never met him, you've never talked to him, but you just have something about him that you don't like. Well, animals have that same thing about them. They have to, again, build that trust and that rapport as well, and it takes time.
Actor Sam Neill had to feel confident that his animal partner wouldn't let him down.
I get to ride on the elephant, which is actually surprisingly easy, although it's not like sitting on a horse. You've got about a 6-foot span. So at the end of the day, you're kind of walking a little bit like this, but apart from that, they're very agreeable animals, and they've been nice to me.
He could get thrown out. And, it is Sam Neill's last day, so
really
do we care if he gets thrown out of an elephant? See this whiteboard?
It's been said that directing children or animals are the most demanding tasks for a director. They both require time, which no one ever has enough of, and patience, which Stephen Sommers has plenty of.
You didn't tell me anything.
You were perfect. With little kids and animals, you never know if you're going to get it, no matter how much time, money, effort, or creativity you put into it. You don't know if you're going to get it, but so far we've been really able to nail it each time. The kid's great, and especially him and the little wolf pup. They just work in sync. Somehow that wolf pup wants to hang out with him, and he just follows him wherever they'll go. I need every angle I can.
There's a certain amount of friendship that trying to build between the actor and the animals. And people are complaining about the fact there's too much violence and other things being portrayed, and maybe we want to see something that's more natural, more, happy.
Professional film actors know how to hit their marks, their specific on-camera positions, to keep themselves in frame and in focus. But how does a wolf learn to hit a mark?
We're going to have a pack of wolves out here, and then you'll have little Mowgli, the 5-year-old, with a puppy wolf, and he's doing a thing where he runs through the bushes. Gray Brother, the little wolf, runs up to him, he picks it up, then he walks down, and all the wolves come up to him. We have a raised mark we start him out on. Then we start lowering the mark till it's flat, and then we start shrinking up the mark. And that whole time we're doing that, we're putting them on the mark on a regular basis and feeding them. So it becomes a very positive place. So you can take any rock and start prepping them on that rock, and they'll see that rock and they'll run right over and stand on it, and they'll look at you like, okay, am I doing it right?
The scripts are reviewed by the American Humane Association along with the trainers and the production company, and we get rid of whatever scenes that are impossible or just too dangerous, or we tone them down.
We're pretty safety conscious, and the animals are very well trained. Our major actor spent a lot of time with the animals so that they got used to him. But animals are a strange commodity. One day the panther didn't want to come out of his cage. No one was going to pull him out either. One day the bear decided that he had enough shooting, and he took 3 handlers with him away from the set. But keeping the animals happy, or having tigers, by the way, loose off of restraining chains is pretty scary when they're running at stuntmen and they're running at the camera. But you don't get a jungle movie without real animals doing phenomenal things.
There's things that you can notice about all the animals, and especially with the bear, you can notice his eyes change a mood or something, and you can know exactly what he's going to do. In that way, I think you become a lot closer with what the animal is thinking.
The end result of all this patience and practice?
Magic. It's gonna be magic.
It takes a lot of imagination to turn a bare stage like this into a lavish ballroom or a secret treasure cave. There's a scene in Kipling's The Jungle Book where Mowgli runs through Monkey City, jumps into a well, and falls into the river that runs through the treasure room. What you're really seeing is Jason Scott Lee running through a set in Rajasthan, India, jumping into a well in Bombay, and coming out the bottom in South Carolina, all in the space of several seconds. Now that's magic.
You couldn't shoot this movie without going to India. We went to places where Kipling had visited and the places he'd wrote about. Everybody that we found, you know, snake charmers, flamethrowers, sword swallowers, they all exist there. We didn't make them up. I mean, that's what you find in India.
We started out in India, in Jodhpur, near the Pakistani border, and we shot for 3 weeks at a 550-year-old palace fort.
That was a real palace where Kitty and Bryden and Plumford all live and work. That stuff's all real.
All right, folks, it's going to be a big high overhead shot. So nice circles, nice dance moves. We'll be able to see it all. Let's roll.
We shot the whole ballroom scene at the palace. And the palace actually didn't have a ballroom, and I spotted this courtyard, and I said, well, let's just do it here. Completely decked out the courtyard and put in all the torches and stuff and made it look like a ballroom. We're looking for things like there's this mysterious tavern that's in the movie. I had something in my head, but we went there and I found these like kind of ruins next to the palace, and we said, hey, let's just shoot it here. Let's decorate this. It'll be more authentic. We used everything we could get our hands on over there. Monkey City, the lost city in the movie, is both a place and a set. We actually built that whole wall with the waterfalls and the big monkey mouth in a jungle outside of Bombay.
And Jason?
We built the interior of the lost city, a mausoleum, a treasure room, all that sort of stuff in the Bombay sound stages because I just thought it would seem more genuine, more real. We had real Indian artisans building things that look genuine.
Whoa, is that sun bright? Okay, we ought to start. Getting hot here, boy.
have all these flaming aqueducts all over the place. And there's a lot of fire in the movie.
1, 2, 3.
The temperature was never under 110 degrees, and we'd have to evacuate if it hit 140. And every day it was hitting 137, 138 degrees. So between the Bombay heat and the flames, it was unbearable.
Hey, that's it for India. We're out of here.
They have a huge film industry over there. It's the biggest in the world. And we used a lot of their crew, and they were fantastic. We had a great time with them.
I don't know who wants to touch me. Yeah, we're both disgusting.
We used Tennessee for some waterfalls and some streams and creeks and stuff like that. A lot of water. And because you don't find a lot of water in the jungles in India, unfortunately. And then we used South Carolina for some specific jungle stuff with the animals. It's kids and animals in India, America. It's all over the place. Logistically, it was a very difficult movie.
It's been said that music hath the power to soothe the savage beast. And after the ordeals that our film crew has endured, a little musical interlude would provide some welcome relief. But the scoring of the film is yet another part of the relentless process that is movie making. After the film is cut, the composer and director view it to decide where the music should be placed and the mood and feeling they want to achieve. The composer writes the score, and the musicians are brought to a room like this. They perform the score, adding just the right touches to make the film come to life.
Music has to be the communicative device that goes with the visuals to convince the audience that something really, truly extraordinary is in there.
When the clarinets come down in 45, they need to play out much stronger.
Basil Polidoris has been making music for the movies for a long time. He has scored such major motion pictures as The Hunt for Red October, Free Willy, and the critically acclaimed television miniseries, Lonesome Dove.
What I'd like to do is extend that part we added.
The Jungle Book presented a lot of opportunities compositionally, being an action-adventure, somewhat fanciful, mystical kind of film. Each scene has its own rhythm. Each sequence has its own rhythm. It's a matter of then understanding how one scene will point to the next, very much like the writing process itself. The trick about film composition really is to write music that effectively addresses all of these issues and timings of the film itself without sounding like it. It's basically a matter of trying to give the whole score a structure. The first one I went for was the main theme of the picture. I knew I wanted it to be somewhat epic in quality, so it needed to be playable by an orchestra that would sound good in a full orchestral setting. The other thing I look for in themes is that, particularly a main theme of a film, is something that can be used in as many different types of musical settings as possible. Contradiction in terms, to write music then that flows and produces this sense of emotion or action or whatever it is one's going for, but then yet to be limited and dictated by a set of external structures. That is the art of scoring film, is making that not seem obvious.
Making The Jungle Book into a full-length live-action feature was an incredible experience. You've met the actors, the animals, the artists, and the technicians who've worked very hard to bring the film to life. But there is just one more element that makes the process complete, and that's you, the audience. As you watch The Jungle Book and as the tale unfolds, you'll get caught up in the story and the characters and forget all about the backstage work that went into its creation. And that's okay, because that's what movie magic is really all about. I'm Patrick Van Horn, and that's a wrap